just to quickly introduce ourselves, we are the Relations Group. Essentially, we are a PR agency ourselves. We specialise in broadcast coverage for our clients. We work in partnership with PR agencies and with our direct clients as well. So we kind of bridge the gap between broadcast and PRs in some respects. IMN's role really is to kind of bridge that gap and give you the opportunity to get as much in the way of broadcast coverage as you can.
There's some bullet point notes that we just want to get through because it's quite important to understand how to get your content, your stories actually being talked about on radio. Radio, to start off with, is a very, very, very valuable audience. Radio is really unique, it's very personal, it's very one-to-one. You wake up with the Radio 1, you go to bed with the Radio 1, you can be in the shower with the Radio 1, and there's some, I guess it's closest that we get because of that unique personal one-to-one relationship people have with their radio stations where if they say it, it kind of must be true. If someone's talking on the radio about something, then it's my local radio station, it kind of must be true as well. So there's a really valuable audience there within radio. Well, the first thing, if you go there with, we've launched this product, the response from a BBC station and a commercial station is, well, how does that affect my listeners? What are my listeners actually going to get out of this? If I'm going to tell my listeners something, if I'm going to interview you, what am I actually going to get from this as well? What BBC stations, what commercial stations like, they like talking to real people, people who are actually affected by what the story is about. Really can't emphasize enough, if you ever had a radio day, if you ever worked with radio stations, the moment you start in one sentence giving 2 or 3 mentions of your brand, that's the moment that that might get switched off, because the BBC are measured and they're monitored on how commercial their content is. First and foremost, what's the story? How does this actually impact my listeners? If we start getting in there, we think, well, hey, it's fantastic, we've got the BBC audience, and you just give your brand mentions after again and again and again, then you will get switched off. That mic will come off.
You know, it's about sort of that negotiation, that understanding that you're not necessarily going to get your exact message across, but your spokesperson, their control is the key to making it successful.
There's an adage in radio where it's all about creating talkability. So if you are on that radio station, whether it's a commercial radio station, whether it's a BBC, whether it's national, whether it's local, whether it's regional, if you're on there, people are talking about you. Because it goes through the process of the producers, it goes through the presenters, it goes through the journalists. If you're on that radio station, that means people are talking about your product, and you're on there for a reason. And if people are talking about you, as far as I'm concerned, that's what PR is all about.
Mm-hmm. We are actually, again, at Toy Fair in January. The guys are very kind to build a brilliant studio facility that we can bring equipment to and broadcast live from. I don't know if you guys heard any of the coverage from last year, but we were actually broadcasting live with a few people here today, broadcasting out to stations, BBC and commercial stations, live from Toy Fair. So you get the ambience of and the noise in the background. It really works for the station. So there is an opportunity, as we've got the whole day there, so there's an opportunity for you guys, if you have something relevant, or you even if you wanted to set up a local contact that you have with a radio station or a regular contact, and you wanted to do an interview with that kind of ambience with somebody from your company, we can arrange all of that and facilitate all of that for you, because the guys have kindly given us the space. So when it comes to Toy Fair, before Toy Fair, if you want to get in touch with Bastian, he can put you in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to arrange anything you need us to do on the day. Television, I think people hear TV and immediately just think the news, and that's it, and that's kind of it. You have got the news, that's right. You've got everything from your sofa-based breakfast programmes like BBC Breakfast and Daybreak, but you have got obviously your news slots throughout the day. So if you've got the right story, even and I hate calling it that, but an and finally story, they are available. But people forget there are also programmes like Alan Titmarsh's programme or Loose Women, who, if you can excite them with a bit of fun and a new product and get them interested in it, even if it's like finding one of the loose women that has an obsession with one of your products, or perhaps even just enjoys your products, or gets excited about it. Most of the work that I've done on TV has been a level of product placement. It's a level of sort of getting somebody to just talk about it, and it's a negotiation process. So there's a vast array of different things you can use, but I think Simon will agree here, there's nothing more key with television than your spokesperson and a case study. You need somebody very senior, obviously financial stories that you're going to need CEO or a financial director, but everyday stories, they still look for a very credible spokesperson and case studies.
So moving on to online now, online broadcast. Has anyone done much digital work here? Anyone outside of your, the normal social media, if you've used content, like digital content before? It's within newspapers, trade magazines, obviously, there is a certain limit of them. Radio stations, there's about maybe 600-700 radio stations in the UK, and there's only a certain amount of TV shows that you can access to. We find with the online world, it's kind of like we haven't actually found where the limit is yet. there is every day, there are new blogs being launched, there are new websites being launched as well. And actually, with those new blogs, those new websites that are being launched, comes a very valuable audience. And we find that the best ways of using digital content split up into four areas. We have webcasts, web TV, video podcasts, and video news releases. And the most popular that we're finding so far, webcasts are becoming quite a popular thing. Webcasts, the studio environment where they can be anywhere. They can be a mobile. It doesn't have to be restricted to a studio. You can be filmed in your office as long as there's a strong broadband signal that we're not going to keep dropping out if it's a live stream webcast. Maybe 2 or 3 cameras, maybe a moderator, maybe a couple of spokespeople. A case study as well is extremely important. And it's no more than 10 minutes, maybe 12 at a very big push. But it's where you get to have that environment, if you're the client, if you've got your key objectives, where you get to contain what the messages are. You can have a debate about a single particular issue, and there are websites out there who will be hungry for that content. And if they don't take a live webcast, they take a player game webcast as well. And you start to access people like Hello Magazine, you start to access people like The Independent, The Guardian have different sections on there as well, and you start to access a massive, massive audience. So you're moving away from kind of like viewers and listeners, and you're moving into users where you can actually interact with these people as well.
Obviously there's exceptional benefits to online coverage, as much as the same as when you position your press releases on online media. We can then facilitate the stream of the video onto there as well. So but you still obtain the copies, so you've still got your SEO and engagement there. I think the content for the websites is the important thing. It's that engagement with the page for longer than just reading a few paragraphs. Actually sitting down and listening to 1 to 4 minutes of good quality video coverage is a lot stronger.